This is an update on my previous video where I showed you how to use the SP with Drambo. So you can use it. Oh, that light is gonna bother me, sorry. I'm gonna have to cut it off and hope for the best here. You can use it with straight into Drambo. Actually, if you can see right here, I have it with an anchor cable going from the SP. There's a few things you wanna make sure you do. One is in the SP itself, hit Shift 13, go to the system and make sure your MIDI is set up on auto so that because what happens is, because the SP is trying to be a MIDI controller as well as be an audio device. This is part of the reason why I use the sound card, because sometimes the SP will get into this MIDI thing and it'll drive me nuts because it'll be trying to trigger something while I'm playing it. So that's a bit frustrating. So to fix that, just make sure you put it on auto. It should be able to work, but for some reason, sometimes it doesn't. The other thing is, don't try to turn on monitor in the Flexi sample. You will need a MIDI to CV. That's gonna be how you control the triggering in Drambo, but you don't wanna have monitor on while you're monitoring through the SP. See, the SP is acting as your interface in this case. And if you look right here, this, you can see with the source, you just put it in and put USB 1 and 2, right? And then you want to make sure your sync is at the threshold. And then you're going to hit record and then put your metronome on and just play the metronome, right? Press play on here, let the metronome go through and give you a count in. And as you listen to the metronome, you can keep recording. Set your tempo, do the same thing. All that's a must do. After you record, then you can go in and normalize your track, and you'll see that you'll get the sound up pretty good. You won't be able to hear the sound because my family's sleeping. I don't have the speakers on right now, but it's legit, like legit, all right? I wouldn't say it if it wasn't. Believe me, I'm very honest when it comes to that. So the other thing is, then you want, when you get back to this screen, if you're gonna do it all as a one shot straight across, then set it to one shot, trigger, and note. And the first note is usually C2, so this will be your main note to play it. And all you have to do is put it in there, set the bar count here, how many you want, and then it'll play. Otherwise, if you set this to anything else, like if you set it to random and you don't have chops, it's gonna just like start at the beginning and keep triggering back to the beginning. And that doesn't work. The other thing is, you can use transport as the trigger. So you can turn off, if you're having trouble with trigger for whatever reason, then turn it off and put it on transport, and then it will only play when you press start. Or start, I mean when you press play. Otherwise, keep it on trigger and use the one shot. The slices are mostly for when you have slices and then you're trying to trigger it, and by either notes or by random. So that's pretty much the setup with the SP. If you just want to go SP straight into the iPad mini, and it works really well. I think it's just as good as using the interface. It might be even a little bit better in some ways. The one thing the interface does to me, or I feel is better, is I have less issues with the MIDI stuff, the MIDI triggering things. That's the frustrating part. Other than that, going straight in actually is better, in my opinion. All right. But the other thing for me too is I want to see how it works with my guitar. I have not tried the bass and the guitar going in this way. I know you can, but I haven't tried it. I want to see how it goes, because it may sound better through the audio interface. It may not. I don't know. I know how it works with stuff inside the SP is fine, but when you're going in through it, trying to see how it goes through the USB-C, we'll have to see on that. So I'll give you an update on that once I know. But anyway, those steps that I gave you at the beginning of this video are pretty much all you need to set it up to go straight in. Just make sure you have a quality USB-C cable, all right? Anchors tends to be the best aftermarket type cables. All right.